Hey, what's up guys, it's Fish here and welcome back my glorious experiment to another 1v1 on Call of Warhammer 1.6. So today I am again playing against Warrior of Sparta. We decided to jump into kind of a pretty cool looking map. It's very green, very nice looking, a massive hill in the background, and there's even some terrain on here as well, like a building you can kind of use to protect your flank, which is pretty interesting. So as you can see, I'm playing as the High Elves, and I think we're playing at pretty high funds. Again, we just wanted to kind of have really elite units and just kind of have a massive all-out brawl, and he's playing as the Sabanians, so expect lots of Phoenix Guard on Blood Knights in this battle, because there definitely is, you know, crazy fighting. So I'll quickly run through the armies. If you want to skip this, please feel free to click the annotation, and if I haven't made one, I'd appreciate it if someone went ahead and just put a timestamp in the comments, you know, maybe if in case I forget. Yeah, that'd be awesome, just so that people, if they don't want to see these intros, can just quickly go down to the comments, click it, and it'll get brought straight to the battle. But obviously no need to do that if I've already done it with an annotation. So let's quickly run through my army. I have 4 units of Sea Guard, really nice hybrid unit of spear who can form a shield wall and can also just shoot bows as well. So they can whittle down the enemy infantry which are coming close to them. So I've got 4 units of them to kind of make up my main infantry line. Then behind them I have 4 units of Phoenix Guard to kind of support my flanks and also support my center as well. If I see any lines kind of starting to break, I can just go ahead and fill it in with a unit of these Phoenix Guard, because I have a fair amount of them, that's for sure. Then I also have a unit of High Elf Spearmen, just a very nice and basic unit to kind of try and help my cavalry out in the cavalry engagements, because obviously we're going to be fighting Blood Knights, so it's not going to be an easy time of it, that's for sure. Then I have 2 units of these Sword Masters, 2-handed swordsmen, ready to slaughter anything they come in against, and as long as it's not cavalry, obviously. Then behind that I have a unit of White Lions, which are currently garrisoning my general. You see that I love the white lion kind of general, sergeant I guess he's called. Super cool. Then I have 2 units of bolt throwers to kind of act as my artillery, take down some of his heavy cavalry, and if I can start shooting his Blood Knights early, it's going to give me a really good advantage. You know, if I can start whittling them down from a distance, I'm going to be in a good spot. Then for my cavalry unit, I have 4 units of these Dragon Princes, very expensive, very elite. They're probably going to lose in a 1v1 against the Blood Knights, but they're definitely going to hold their own. Looking very, very cool. There's a sergeant there. Then I also have a unit of my Reavers, which are kind of like a missile horse archer unit with a really high missile attack as well. So if I can start harassing him, trying to pick away at a few of his horses early, I'll be in a pretty good place. So let's go ahead and look at Warrior Sparta's army. I'm actually going to start the gameplay as well, because there's a little bit of a stalemate at the beginning, you know, as I start advancing a little bit, so we'll probably have enough time to actually jump straight into the battle after we've done this. So he has 2 units of Black Knights on his left flank, supported by actually an Empire roster, which is kind of funny, supported by some Halberdiers, some Empire swordsmen, and then this is where he really spends his money on these Blood Dragons, 2 units of these bad boys, 125 in the unit, that's going to be pretty brutal. And then supporting that, he has 2 units of Graveguard Swordsmen. And then supported by that, he has 3 units of Graveguard Halberdiers. And then finally another Empire Halberdier unit on his right flank. Then obviously this is where he's really spent his money. He has a unit of Black Grail Knights, a unit of Blood Knights, and another unit of Black Knights. Again, very, very cool. So he has a lot of cavalry, and obviously supporting that in the back, he has a unit of Wraiths, a very good unit at kind of flanking. And then he also has 2 units of Skeleton Archers and his general unit, which is a Knight of the Black Grail, which is very cool. So I'm going to kick things off straight away by advancing my main line. Obviously, I want to kind of get close to him and get into range so I can start using my Sea Guard as effectively as possible. So I'm going to bring up my Horse Archers and just start volleying away at him. You know, start racking up some kills on these Black Knights. Because these aren't Blood Dragons or anything like that, they're actually going to take quite a bit of damage from my missile fire. You can see their numbers are dropping, killing a few of them, especially now he's turning his back to me. I've already killed 10 of these guys, so a couple more volleys are definitely going to rack up some kills as he's running away. You know, again, I've already managed to whittle these guys down by about 20 horses, which is really nice. It just kind of means that my cavalry have a bit of an easier fight. And obviously I'm going to keep on pursuing this, because I want to kind of just about get in range, but I can use my bolt throwers, which I think they are actually in range now. I just want to be able to get into like close enough to force him to come to me. I want to kind of sit stationary, use my missiles and my range advantage to really rack up some kills. And I can definitely start using these bolt throwers to be focusing down his Blood Knights. They're in the center of his line. So if I can load these guys up and just start pounding away as best as possible. You can see the bolts going back. I've got another one on my left flank as well. I think I'm focusing down his Blood Knights. 125 in a unit. Fire! So I'm going to fire out, I think 8 or like 10 bolts. And you can see a massive hit there. Humongous. I killed 10 Blood Knights, which may not sound like that much, but it definitely does add up. So I've already killed 10 of these guys. Haven't quite hit any of in that unit yet. And now it's going to force him to actually advance his entire infantry line. And obviously, if I can start focusing down these halberdiers, and he's not quick enough with them, they're going to get absolutely wrecked. You know, he's going to come into range of my Sea Guard very soon. And again, I think I got another hit, killed like another 6 or 7 of these guys. He is going to bring up his skeleton archers, which is a very smart move to kind of try and warn off my cavalry. Because losing some of these skeleton archers really doesn't matter too much. You know, it's not like losing some of the skeleton archers is really going to cost him too much. So he does start to come into range of my Sea Guard now, and they're just going to open up 4 units of them. Can absolutely just dissipate this unit of Graveguard. I mean, I probably should have been saving my ammunition to focus down the blood dragons and stuff, but you know, I just wanted to slaughter this unit, which I'm doing. 53 now. This is kind of like a reverse to what happened, but not as brutal in the last battle me and Warrior played, where I sat back and like he sat back and shot me last time and forced me to come to him. And this time I'm kind of doing the opposite, but it's not quite as brutal because I only have arrows this time. He had mortars and bright wizards, which was just a lot more epic as well for sure. So I'm definitely wasting ammunition on here. I'm hoping I change target very soon because this is not a good use of my ammunition whatsoever. Hopefully I switched to maybe another unit of Graveguard or something. Oh yeah, I switched to the Blood Knights now. Trying to get these hit points down, trying to rack up some kills on these guys. I'm doing a very good job. Jesus, we're down to 85 now. You know, the more of these bad boys I kill, the better. So if she's trying to get close. And the thing I really love about these two factions is it's very light versus dark. You know, we're kind of a light force holding up on the hill. And he is a lot of obviously a darker force. So let's slow things down just for the charge, just so we can get a proper nice cycle thing down here. My Sea Guard have whipped out their spears now. They're ready for an engagement. We're about to receive a charge from the Blood Knights. Down here. Probably should have put them in shield wall as well, which was kind of probably a mistake by me. Some more Graveguard about to come in. Oh, that was a really nice counter charge there. We actually pushed back a few of these Wraiths. I think the Wraiths aren't that great in headlong engagements. I think they're better for like a flanking unit. But obviously Warrior is still very much learning this mod, so I'm obviously not like messing around with his tactics and what he's doing. I'm just saying, in general, if you're using him in a battle, you should probably try and use him as a flanking unit. At least, I mean, like, I'm just as clueless as well, because I've barely used them. So his Graveguard's going to smash in here as well against my Spearman on my flank. So he's done a really good job at actually stretching out my entire battle line here. You can kind of see I'm kind of engaged the entirety along my line. Obviously, I have a lot in reserve. I have 4 units of Phoenix Guard and some Swordmasters as well. But I am very stretched. It's kind of a bit harder for me to actually go ahead and support, you know, these flanks. If he brings in his heavy cavalry, it's going to be kind of hard for me to stop that. My Swordmaster should hopefully be having a fun day against his Empire Swordsmen. The cavalry fight is off. My Dragon Princes should be doing very nicely against these Black Knights. Obviously, there's 2 units of Black Knights, so I kind of have to be a bit cautious about that. But leaving 1 unit should be more than enough. And I'm also bringing a unit of my Dragon Princes around to kind of start hitting them in the back. And obviously, not to forget, he still has 3 units of these Graveguards halberdiers, which are moving up very slowly, but they're going to get to the fight very soon. And because these guys are so slow, I kind of wasted all my ammunition on their front line. You know, obviously, I used a lot of my ammunition actually fighting this front line, so it means that these halberdiers kind of got up unscathed, and these are pretty good units, you know. The Graveguard halberdiers are nothing to be messed with, and he also has all this cavalry over here as well. This is scary ass cavalry. Blood Knights, Knights of the Black Grail. on top of just some normal Black Knights as well. I did get a very nice hit with my... Oh my god, that's actually a really nice hit. I got a super hit with my Ballistae, or my Bolt Throwers. I killed like 10 of these Black Knights of a Black Grail, which are massive. You know, these guys are expensive. And I also obviously have my own Dragon Princes over here to kind of protect it, but if I get into a 2v3, the Blood Knights will just slaughter me, along with the Knights of the Grail. So he's starting to throw in his Halberdiers, doing an amazing job. He's kind of saw my weakness over here. I've only got Elven Spearmen here. This is my worst unit. So he's kind of seizing that and pushing in everything, you know, trying to find a breaking point in my line and just using it. Pushing in everything he has. I have brought up my Phoenix Guard, you know, to force my... Oh, no, actually, I haven't even brought these guys up. The thing was, these guys pushed up, but because his infantry is just pushing me back, they're kind of falling back to where my Phoenix Spears were in the first place, which is pretty crazy. You know, you can definitely see he's making headway in this battle, bringing in some of his general unit to go ahead and help me. I got a huge charge off, which I actually missed and I apologise for. I got a huge charge off against his Empire Spearmen, or Swordsmen. And I don't think that, even though they didn't really even need it as well, I'm sure my Swordmasters would have been more than capable without taking them off. Warrior does go ahead and support his Black Knights over here with a unit of Halberdiers, which obviously is going to be really good for him. It's going to kind of completely turn around this cavalry engagement. And just look how many kills these spears are getting. I need to get my horses out of there. Get your men out of there, Aragon. Yeah, now I'm just fighting away some more of his Knights of the Black Grail. But again, my Dragon Princes aren't going to be winning this engagement. But I kind of would prefer that. Spin move! I'd prefer that than kind of letting the Knights kind of run free. And the cavalry engagement over here is finally going on as well. I've managed to engage his units. He is trying to slip through his Blood Dragons though. Trying to get them behind my line. Because obviously if he can start hammering anvil the back of my line, it's going to cause massive routes. Because my Sea Guard are pretty good, but you know, if they get hit from elite cavalry, it's not going to be too good for them. You know, we're probably going to end up routing. Now, these raids are actually doing pretty good. Maybe I was wrong with using them as a flanking unit, because they're actually holding their own. I mean, you know, they're not really dying. There's plenty of them left. They've lost like 10 dudes, so maybe I was completely wrong there. Maybe they just are, but then again, they're not exactly fighting elite units. So I managed to go ahead and kind of trap his Blood Knights here, trying to rack up a few kills with my Phoenix Guard. Because this was kind of my plan now. Because he's kind of winning the cavalry engagement, I'm going to use my Phoenix Guard to kind of protect my flank, protect my back. As you can see, I'm doing it over here. I'm going to spread these guys out as well. Because as long as I can get my White Knights, I have enough infantry. I have White Lions, I have Sword Masters. You know, I don't need to commit my Phoenix Guard yet to his front line. I still have plenty. I have plenty of Sea Guard left as well. The Sea Guard are going to eventually kind of whittle away. But as long as I just re-support this line with White Lions and, you know, I support it with more of my Sword Masters, I should be fine. So I'm actually trapping this cavalry here. Look how many I killed. I killed plenty of them. You know, I'm just trying to do the exact same down my entire line, just keeping it nice and protected. I'm going to stretch out this unit a little bit as well. Just trying to keep my flanks as protected as possible. You can see the battle just going on. He's done a really good job. Yeah, look, oh my god, my knights died so quickly. I think I also have some of my horse archers around here somewhere. Where are my horse archers? Oh yeah, I'm bringing them back now. They're just volleying away, trying to rack up some more kills. They were skirmishing, I think, with the skeleton archers. So yeah, again, like his Knights of the Black Grail are going to go to town on my Sword Masters. My Sword Masters are just not meant to fight this heavy of a cav unit. You know, this cav unit is top tier. I don't know really what else beats it, but it's going to be pretty brutal. But I'm bringing up some Phoenix Guard to support that and try and kill these guys. I'm doing a fairly good job at kind of protecting my flank, kind of catching a few of them. You know, just trying to whittle these guys down. It's really just like, kind of trying to demobilize them and protect my back, because I do not want him to get a back rear charge off on my men. My Phoenix Guard are starting to get in there now against the heavy cavalry. The battle line is going off. Blood Knights is slaughtering everything. Grave Guards going in though, so they're doing very well against my men. Again, these Blood Knights, you know, there's 68 of them left. I'm pretty sure this was a unit I peppered down at the beginning. So really, they've only lost like 10 men in this entire melee, which is pretty crazy to think about it. You can see the dead bodies of my Sea Guard just mounting on the floor. And I do actually manage to kill his general with my Phoenix Guard. I managed to go ahead and get them in. I think he was paying attention elsewhere and didn't really see. I thought he was just fighting Sword Masters. So my Phoenix Guard did an amazing job. It was kind of unfortunate though, considering his general, you know, he's got 36 men in a unit, and normally with Medieval, the general doesn't really, you know, die till it's kind of a bit more depleted. So my Phoenix Guard did an amazing job killing the general, but again, we're fighting the undead. These guys are not going to rout. You know, it's not like I've killed his general and now his infantry line's going to rout. You know, a few of them might crumble or something, but these guys are going to be fighting to the death, so killing his general's not really that important. Damn, I really love the bow covers there as well. That's really nice. So I get a pretty nice charge off with my Reavers. Shooting a bow there. Trying to attack these guys as best as possible. And you see the balance of powers, you know, is still very, very even. He has a bunch of these Blood Knights left. He's definitely winning this cavalry off as well. Over here. Actually, no, I'm starting to win this cavalry off a little bit. Oh no, not even really. He's starting to win this with just Black Knights and Knights of the Grail, which is pretty crazy considering he has one really good cavalry unit and one okayish unit, and that's kind of overwhelming by two good units, just because the Knights of the Black Grail are just so good. And he's managed to punch through over here very effectively. You know, he saw that I only had a unit of spearmen over here, so he's going to kind of use that to his advantage and kind of focus a lot of his units here. My general's unit is now involved, trying just to hold this off, and I'm doing a pretty good job at protecting my back. But you can see my numbers are starting to dwindle along this front line massively. Obviously, I'm winning over here on the right flank. I managed to free a bit of my cavalry up over here as well. I did eventually get them out of this little section, you know, where he had his halberdiers. You can see they're starting to slowly come in now as well. So I've managed to surround these Blood Knights, but still 57 of them left. And he's going to get another really nice rear charge in. So again, my infantry line's starting to dwindle, and he's winning the cavalry off as well. So I'm gonna have to start committing these Black Knights. Oh, a really nice little sneak through here, getting onto my bolt thrower crew. But obviously, I am getting some halberdiers in, or some Phoenix Guard in. So if I can kill some of these Blood Knights, you know, every one of these guys I kill kind of gives me that little bit of hope. Because as you can see, my infantry line, as I was saying, is starting to really dwindle. Look at the death of my Sea Guard against these Blood Knights. So I'm going to have to start committing these Phoenix Guard, otherwise I'm going to lose the battle. And as soon as I start committing these Phoenix Guard, it means that his heavy cavalry can then start hitting me in the back. So I need to be so cautious of that. Especially over here as well, my Blood Dragons, I'm not Blood Dragon, I wish I had Blood Dragons. My Dragon Princes got rear charged by the Black Grail Knights, so they're going to be doing plenty of work. And I had to go ahead and turn around my Phoenix Guard to deal with these Empire Halberdiers. Just hoping I could kill these guys quick enough to then turn around and attack these Black Grail Knights. And his Grave Guard managed to surround my general, and now my general dies. So this battle is extremely back and forth. Like, he has some really elite units left, but again, I have Phoenix Guard left, so it's not over yet. You know, maybe a few of my weaker Sea Guard are going to rout now because my general died. But, you know, my Phoenix Guard are not. My Phoenix Guard are going to hold to the bitter end. You know, these are the elite units of the Elven Warriors. They're not going to give up this battle easily. Going to turn around and get a charge on these Blood Knights as they run in. Hopefully they'll be doing half decent. You know, now the Blood Knights have been pretty winded and exhausted, whereas my men are steady and fresh, you know. My Phoenix Guard haven't really been in the battle yet, which is kind of pretty good for me, considering, you know, we've been kind of fighting for quite a while. So I've kind of managed to tire his men out with my more elite units, or my weaker units. And that's kind of allowed me to go ahead and keep these guys who are a bit more fresh, you know, in reserve, to go ahead and then challenge these guys. Because obviously these guys are used to fighting crappy units. Now they're up against a more elite unit, they're going to be struggling a lot more. But again, you can see my line is getting dissipated now. I haven't really got much left. All my Sea Guard is routing now. But look how much cavalry he has left. He has pretty much 45 Blood Knights. You know, that's scary as hell. I just need to try and whittle down this infantry as best I can, because if I can kill the infantry, I can protect my flanks. That's basically it. And, you know, again, these Blood Knights are winded on this flank as well, so my Phoenix Guard should be able to kill these guys, especially because there's so many more of my Phoenix Guard left. The Wraiths are doing huge amounts of damage as well. Yeah, maybe I was completely wrong about these Wraiths. Again, like, I'm not really too used to using them, so I just always assumed because there's not many of them, you want to kind of just flank with them. I mean, maybe that's definitely true as well. There's some Blood Knights surrounding me, but you can see the Blood Knights are starting to drop now. They're tired, and they've probably taken a bit of damage from my Sea Guard in the first place. Over here as well, I managed to completely catch this unit of Blood Knights, or this unit of Black Grail Knights, because there's so many just different names for the cavalry. So that's pretty good for me. I managed to rack up a bunch of kills, but he's bringing over the rest of his cavalry now to support, you know, 45 units of that, 20 of the Black Grail Knights. Plenty left, plenty left. Sword Masters are still going at it, along with the Phoenix Guard. Over here as well. I'm just trying to clean up this unit of Grave Guard as soon as possible so I can bring back this entire unit of Phoenix Guard to kind of support my line. But look at the death here. That's just crazy. Look at all them dead bodies. It was mainly my dead bodies as well, which is a scary thing. Phoenix Guard starting to get outflanked by the Grave Guard. Beautiful job there by Warrior. But the Blood Dragons are starting to dwindle down. And is he going to charge my pike line? I don't think he meant to do this. He's actually going to go ahead and charge my pike line here. He's not actually doing too bad as well. He lost a few on the charge, but he's definitely disrupting my line. Hopefully my pikes sort that out. I mean, he gets a really good rear charge or flanking charge into the Sword Masters. Obviously, the Sword Masters are kind of going to be struggling against horse units. So that does not spell too good for them. But I'm more than happy to take this frontal engagement against these horses with my Phoenix Guard. More than happy. And I can also actually start bringing back this unit of Phoenix Guard as well. You know, start sandwiching them in. Now I've got like a nice little flank advantage. Again, he's just trying to run through his Knights of Black Grail, because if he can get behind my lines, then it's gonna be hard for me. But luckily, I've kind of managed to dwindle down his infantry units. Like, there's not really much of a Vampire Count's infantry left. And because of this, I can kind of almost detach from this engagement and kind of prepare for a rear charge. You'll see in a second, you know, he's going to go ahead and try and charge his Phoenix Guard. Because there's not really much in front of me, I can kind of just completely turn around my line to prevent the charge. Because I'm not really going to be taking too much rear damage from these Blood Knights, just because there's not enough of them left, really. And I finally managed to smash the Grave Guard over here. So I kind of have a lot of elite infantry left, and he kind of has a lot of elite cavalry left. So it's kind of really anyone's game. It just kind of depends who gets the better charges off at this point. He is starting to win in the center, though. Like, I'm starting to run... Oh, no, I'm not. I've got 122 Phoenix Guard left. I lied. You know, you can see what I was saying right here. You know, because I can just turn my flanks. And normally, if I was fighting a full unit, they would just be smacking me from behind. But because I don't have to worry about that, I can just turn them around and make them prepared to receive an enemy charge. Warrior does actually manage to get a few of his horses out. I think I maybe catch a few of them. Or no, he pulls out in the last second, so pull out game very strong there. But again, you can see I managed to go ahead and win on this right hand side now, freeing up 2 units of Phoenix Guard pretty much. You know, there's only 13 Blood Dragons left on this flank, so they're going to be getting whittled down very soon. And, you know, now this frees up, you know, pretty much 2 units to kind of protect my flank away from this cavalry. You know, this has been the key to kind of getting me to this point in the battle. Is having this Phoenix Guard kind of protect my rears from the cavalry. You know, stopping them from doing hammer and anvil strikes. And this was something, you know, the dwarf in the last battle when I was playing with Warrior, you know, the dwarfs just couldn't do this. I got out cavalried in this game, much like I did in the dwarven game. Obviously, I got out cavalried in that game. But because I had my Phoenix Guard kind of protecting my rear, prevented him from doing these rear charges. And kind of freeing up my frontal infantry just to really take the brunt of the assault. You know, these Phoenix Guard kind of acted like spikes, as it were. You know, and if I would have been able to have the artillery advantage in the previous battle, you know, the spikes would have acted like they did in this battle. You know, he still has a bunch of these Wraiths left. Damn, they're just not dying. 14 of them left. They've been fighting since the beginning of the battle. A few Blood Knights now, but pretty much winning on most flanks. He's still got to pick up a very sturdy fight over here. The Grave Guard against my Phoenix Guard. And the Empire Spearmen against my White Lions. Cavalry's going to go for another rear charge. I just turned around at the last second, but he gets a really nice hit into my sword masters. A really nice hit. Followed up with some more Black Knights as well. But obviously the Phoenix Guard on this flank have just turned around and they're going to start whittling them down. You know, this is just what you need to do. Just try and reduce their numbers and making them less potent. We can probably play on normal speed now. I probably should have played a bit more on normal speed from the beginning. Bringing some more Phoenix Guard, running them in. I took them off phalanx mode and just trying to get them in as best as I can. Oh my god, that was a brutal charge. My god. I've never seen that. Damn, I guess if you don't have them on, like, pike phalanx mode, they actually do a sick charge. Damn, I'm going to have to remember that next time I play the elves. Warrior then cycle charging the rest of my white lions over here. You know, these are obviously ample targets or prime targets to go ahead and focus with his cavalry. God, I did not know about this, like, sick charge that they did. I'm going to have to definitely remember that. Killing the rest of these black ground knights now. There's only 3 of them left. Balance power is hugely swift in my favour. I just have these really elite units left now, which are not breaking. And it's kind of crazy to think. Our generals died pretty quickly in this battle. You know, we lost our generals midway through the battle. So the fact that our men are still standing and fighting, you know, that's pretty good. You know, I've pretty much managed to crush him in the centre now. Here's a few knights left. You know, and then his last pocket of resistance is really just over here now. And we're going to win the day very, very soon. So let's just speed things up. It's literally just this last cavalry left. I want to pause it just before we go ahead and end the battle, just so we can kind of see the death and devastation. Yeah, so we can just look at the death which was caused. So the battle line is absolutely crazy. You see how many of my blood dragons died here as well? I thought they would be doing very good, because they are only up against one unit of black Grail Knights and the unit of just normal black Knights. So I thought 2 units of Dragon Princes would overwhelm kind of a Mer unit and a really good unit, but I guess not. So you can see where my Spearman just got wrecked and the Warrior kind of punched through my line there. My Seagull getting slaughtered by the Blood Dragons. There's like 3 or 4 of them scattered in like 120 of my dead bodies. My Phoenix Guard kind of being victorious there. More of my Sea Guard dead. Oh my god, there's just so many of death and destruction from my Sea Guard. Loads of Blood Dragons. Empire soldiers. A nice little cavalry engagement over here as well. Now that was going pretty well in my favour. And then you can just see the men I picked off. Like this, do you remember this unit over here? Just the whole unit of Grave Guard just got disappeared. And I managed to kill a bunch of these skeleton archers as well with my Reavers, which we kind of didn't look at. But yeah, that's pretty much the battle. I'm going to go ahead and win this battle. So Warrior takes one victory and I take the other. 2 very entertaining battles though, that's for sure. So let's go and speed it up. He goes ahead in the midst of defeat. And yeah, there you go. I managed to kill 2,000. He killed, like, it was a very close battle. It's just lucky I had like an elite unit left to kind of support me. And you can see my White Lions, my Phoenix Guard all racking up 100 kills. Very nice. Swordmasters 120. My Reavers killed 353. Again, that figure's slightly distorted because they were just fighting skeleton archers with no support. So they could just slaughter them. But again, my bolt throwers, 71 and 48. That's not bad for an artillery unit like a ballista whatsoever. So yeah, a very good battle by Warrior Sparta. I managed to claim a victory after getting wrecked in the last battle. So GG to him. Make sure to obviously check out his channel. And I'll see you guys next time. And fish out.